Blog Talk Radio.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is 8 to 5, brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service to you tonight. Today is October 2nd. Welcome, October 2012.
Welcome.
8:30 on the West Coast, 11:30 on the East Coast. And tonight we go 8 to 5 with Chris Jones, our star Chris Jones. And tonight we're going to be talking about fitness, the real hazing. Now, amidst all of the hazing reports and all of the suspensions connected to hazing, it's essentially destroying all of our bands, our schools, our organizations, and on some levels in our communities. We wanted to talk to our resident trainer, and we wanted to feel like we wanted to do something to try to get away from the hazing practice. So please call in tonight and talk to Chris Jones at 718-664-6025, 718-664-6025. You can email the show, marchingpodcast@gmail.com, or tweet us at marchingpodcast. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, Mr. Chris Jones?
How you doing, Joe Beard? It's a good day in the neighborhood. It's a good day in the neighborhood. But, hey, we're going to talk about this hazing thing that's going around. You know, it's a serious, serious matter. And what I think is happening is we have failed to see and realize where it really comes from. Hazing has been in college band, in fraternal orders, in glee clubs, in all sorts of such scenarios in different situations. But it has come to a point that is getting too physical. And the physical format is that, well, before I even go any further, let me read you the definition of hazing. Hazing is a practice of rituals and other activities involving harassment, abuse, humiliation. This is a process that you have to go through to be in this fraternal order or club. These are the things that you have to do. And, you know, now it's getting to the point that people want to put hands on people. People want to paddle and stuff like that. And it's really destroying our bands. It's destroying our bands, destroying our communities. And it's really a serious issue that we really need to touch upon. But you know what? When I was in the band, instead of putting my hands on people, you know what I did, Joe?
No, what you do, Chris Jones?
Well,
no, what you do?
You know what I do? I say 2-5. When I say 2-5, I get down right with you. Being a bandsman is one thing, but being a bandsman that involves the unit of band is another thing. Now, I used to use my fitness as a way of not hazing, but developing a discipline about that person. If they were late, you would be punished like that, but I would do your punishment with you. So it's not involving hazing at that point. It's a teamwork effort, because instead of me using a negative to make you feel like you're being harassed or abused, I use it in a positive and use the exercise to utilize these things and to make a better person or a better bandsman. Now, we're going to get on some subjects. I know that's sort of touchy. You know, of course, we've had a death in our band world with the drum major from Florida A&M, and you know, it's a touchy subject because, you know, we all want to be down. We all want to be at that point that, you know, we're apart, and you know, you can tell somebody to do something, and sometimes you sort of entice them to do it, and that's what happens. But let's look at it from a different standpoint. Let's look at it from a standpoint that we use physical fitness as our sharecropper, meaning that when I do something wrong or when somebody in my band does something wrong, I get down right with them. I do the activity, and that way we benefit each other. I get my exercise in, you get your exercise in. This makes us better bandsmen. This makes us stronger. This makes us much healthier. And at the same time, it brings a unification to that same situation. We are separating ourselves from being in shape and being disciplined. And there's a thin line between that. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but it's a thin line. But you can exercise and be disciplined, and at the same time lay down the law with that same person, just like in the military, they do it. Just like on the football team, they do it. I mean, it goes around in different scenarios, but we need to stop using the negative ways of hazing people or the negative ways of getting things across. Instead, we should use more positive, as in exercise, as in utilizing that point, the point that, hey, I'm going to make this bandsman better. Hey, I'm going to make my friend or this guy that's right next to me, I'm going to make him better. He's going to be stronger. That's going to make our team stronger. That's going to make our band stronger. That's going to make our softball team stronger or our club. These are the things that we need to start thinking about instead of using that you have to earn your keep by me touching you or me putting my hands on you. Now,
so let me ask you this, Chris Jones. You touched on a lot of good things. I want to ask you about some of the exercises that are good. Guess we can start out with that. What are the exercises that are good? You say that, and I remember from the good old Johnson C. Smith days.
Oh yeah.
2-5.
2-5.
And you used to hate that. To hear that, that you were doing 2-5, but I mean, it's you as a bandsman, you feel the same as far as like, dang, I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? We actually got a call, Chris Jones.
We got a call coming in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into them. And let's let them say their point. Someone from the 980 area code. Go ahead and give us your name and your comment tonight.
This is Brother Craig Howard. How you guys doing, Joe Beard and Chris Jones? Good to
hear
y'all. How you
doing, Brother Craig Howard?
Doing good. Doing
what's up,
good.
Brother Craig? How you doing?
Brother Craig.
Doing
good to hear from you, man.
Good to hear from y'all, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying that y'all talking about hazing among college bands. And it's been kind of listening in, man, and I totally, personally, don't agree with it, but I have to say that generations and time do change.
They do.
And, this generation is different. The pride is a factor in today's college bands. When you look back in the 70s, let's go back as far as the 60s.
Right.
60s all up into the 90s. The tone was set. One band. If you look at drumline, one band, one sound. Everybody wanted to look the same, sound the same, had the same energy. During that week of practice, every section had to make sure that their part was right.
But wait a second. I don't mean to cut you off, Craig. But you said you stepped on something that's real good right there. You said something about energy and making that one unit, one band, one sound. Now, that's what I was talking about with the exercise. No, we can't. The hazing thing, it is a bad thing. But yet still, instilling that discipline in you and me to do the same things to get and prosper ourselves better. That's what we're touching on. That's the way we're going at with this hazing thing. And I think it stems from our leaders. It stems from the leaders in the band. It stems from the leaders in the groups, all that stuff. But I'm going to let you go ahead and have it. So say some more. Let's hear what else you have to say about that. Because I know you see it from a different standpoint than we've seen it, because you were in South Carolina State's band, the Marching 101, which is an outstanding unit. And, I know we all went through our certain scenarios. So tell us, what were devices used that you would think would be more positive instead of putting our hands on these people and incinerating that or motivating those people to have that positive and that energy of love or passion for that unit or that band. Touch on that for me, please.
Well, I look at it like this. Today's society have a lot of things misconstrued.
Right.
Okay. For example, it's okay to go in corporate America and work in corporate America, and you live by the email, die by the email.
Correct.
Correct. You can agree with me on that, right?
I agree with you.
Now let's look at college bands. Okay. Most bandsmen now, they're pretty much walking on the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With no sense of work ethic. Everything is just given to them. Well,
right.
If you just come out here today, you can march with us. Whereas in the beginning, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it's all about your heart. It's all about what's in your heart. Now, does it take physical hazing to get things done? No. However, everybody gets picked on. Everybody gets criticized.
This is true.
Think, verbal hazing, through exercise, calisthenics, which you need anyway, with me being a percussion and cymbal player at that, you constantly holding cymbals. Percussionists play all the time.
All the time,
before
nonstop.
the game, during the game, after the game, get to the band hall, you got another show to do.
You got to be in shape.
You got to be in shape. So those... Go ahead.
Well, right quick, let me interject because I'm going to let you finish your point, Craig. I hear so far that we got 2-5, we got the push-ups, and now Craig has definitely brought up calisthenics, especially being a percussion player.
Correct, the cardio. The
good cardio. So right now, we touching upon those things. I was just trying to give a little bit for the listeners just so they keeping track of some of the things that they would want. So calisthenics, definitely some push-ups. Go ahead and finish out your point, Craig.
Well, my point is just to wrap up, man. And, we can go on and on, all day about hazing. If you're a bandsman seeking to specifically march on an HBCU school, when you think about traditional bands, South Carolina State, Florida A&M, Jackson State, Southern, Alabama A&M, the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
You have pride, tradition, Everybody have that yearly tradition, or they have that way of doing things. This is how tradition is built. This is how the foundation is built. Things that has happened years ago is being passed on through generation after generation. Now that generation is being broken up because a different generation is coming in, and they're like, well, we're not going to do this. We don't have to do it because we don't, and that's hurting, for one, the tradition. For two, is giving a different perception of what bandsmen and what a band is supposed to be. You can go out here and play for any old marching band, any type of marching drum line, but if you're not really understanding the tradition of that band, and one of the things that really hurt me, and I'm criticizing my own band that I marched on. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows South Carolina State Marching 101. When you look at South Carolina State back in 60s, 70s, 80s versus now, it's two different styles, and everybody sees the difference.
But I mean that goes back to the leadership. That's what I'm talking about. But
right.
At the same time, though, Craig, I mean, and not to cut you off again, but we still need to look at another direction. I know we still have tradition in our bands and whatnot, but we need to look in another direction of adding that tradition on in a positive manner. Yes, today society has changed, and yes, individuals are not the same like they were back in the day. So we need to acclimate ourselves and mold ourselves to a different variation instead of putting our hands and being so physical. And you know you're going to get picked on. That's just regardless.
Yeah.
But, and I think the way to get into that is through fitness.
Exactly.
We want to go ahead and let's go ahead and hammer some of these major points. We got our halfway point of the show. I appreciate it, Brother Craig, man, for calling in. I hope you become a regular listener, man. But yeah, we're gonna definitely throw some fire at Chris Jones. See how well we can go in this different direction, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the call tonight, man, and I'll definitely be in contact. Craig's out here on the West Coast now. Well, not the West Coast, but basically Arizona. Same basic thing. We're not too far. Same time zone, kind of, sort of part of
Craig,
the year.
are you in Arizona, man?
Yeah, man, I'm a traveling brother, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Awesome.
Man. All right, man. I wish we could get into it, but yeah, Brother Craig. Well, right quick, before you get off, man, could you give us a couple of exercises, man, you think that would be really good, especially for drummers? You think something would be really good?
We talk about, just like you said, he said with the cymbals, of course, upper body push-ups, doing extended push-ups, doing different formats with your hands, bring your hands in.
I say Craig. I say right quick before Craig got out, I say Craig.
Craig. Craig. His turn.
Yeah, man. I mean, Chris could have answered because he plays cymbals too. I mean, push-ups, man, sit-ups, definitely running, anything to get the upper body in dips, we used to hold the cymbals just straight out in front, extension out in front, and just hold them up for a long extended period amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
good.
like an isometric type exercise, man. But anything, man, cardiovascular, running, push-ups, sit-ups, your basic calisthenics.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it, Craig, man. Let's go ahead and hammer on Chris Jones, man. We appreciate it, Craig.
Hey, Craig, man, you take it easy, bro.
Man, we're going to go ahead and get on you, Chris Jones. So go ahead and finish your point.
Let me add to what Craig was talking about that. Let's add on, you were talking about, he was talking about holding the cymbals out. Now, with doing that, we're working the deltoids, and we're working our lats are the sides of our body, which helps us to keep ourselves strong and fit, and you get that nice curvature in your back. That's that definition that every man and every woman wants. Now, you can really use these muscles and utilize these muscles when holding up instruments, of course, like your trombone or your trumpet, or even playing snare, bass drum. You use your latissimus dorsi muscles, and that muscle is connected right back to that rhomboid, which is the back. And using the back area, you work your core too, because your core and your back actually work congruently together. When you're working your abs, you're working your core and your back. So another point that I always get on with my band members or people that I'm training is to work your core. Your core is the abs, which keep you straight and erect. As you get older, you prolong life. Life goes on. You tend to get gravity pulling you down. You get extended down to that curve of your back. You can't have that. So to change that and to develop that muscle, you can do crunches, double crunches, reverse crunches. Crunches are really good. It's a good way to train the muscle, and it's also good for brass players and wind players because they get to project more sound using the abdominal area. So that diaphragm.
So let me ask you this, Chris Jones. Let's say that we come up with a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Someone says, as opposing, you would be getting some wood for this. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never right. Blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You in the heat of the moment. Now, based on, I guess, to this point, you have broken down things from the upper body, from the core, deltoids, lower back, the 2-5. Craig brought up the calisthenics, holding out the things. what would be something off gate was like, okay, and also at the beginning, one band, one sound, and you said doing things together, so everyone's
Correct.
doing these punishments.
Correct.
What are you saying? Boom, bow, this happens. Oh, someone in the trombone section. Let's say a guy named Steve does something wrong in the trombone section. I promise,
Steve.
I know that was just a name. I don't know about it. Yeah. But let's say this guy did something wrong. What is the punishment Chris Jones coming up with, and the whole band is about to do it?
Man, I think I go to some burpees. It's burpees are not a joke, and instead of like I said, one person doing it, the whole band would do it.
Yeah.
We believe in this one band, one sound thing. We got to believe in that because that's actually our heritage, But burpees, we would do burpees till
what is a burpee for our listeners out there?
Is like an extended plank. You jump into an extended plank with your hands are down and you're on your toes. Then you bring the feet back into the chest area, and you expound up or spring up from that point with hands up in the air. You do this simultaneously. You do this in repetition, and about a set of 10 of those, that's good cardio. That's your body and your muscles working, and they're working congruently together, and that really makes them grow and develop too. That's one of the things, and once again, we've gotten our point across. We've gotten the discipline down.
Right. Because other people have gotten a notice too. Because another thing too, just from something that you kind of brought up, and something I guess in my experience in my days of this topic, you're in a sense you become separated from one another. I mean, everyone I guess on your line, I guess how it goes, and we're of course speaking in a marching band setting here. We're not talking about another setting, but your section or whatever is getting this punishment. You are, in a sense, getting a different type of dealing than other people.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like the saxophone players. Right, exactly.
The why me syndrome. Why you picking on me syndrome.
Yeah, so...
And then you feel separate.
So definitely when doing all these things together, it definitely does wake up everyone and kind of makes it where it's like, hey, come on, man, we need to help so-and-so out because we ain't going to never stop these burpees. Chris Jones, he killing us with the burpees, man. But, like,
that's right.
You can't get mad at Chris Jones. Right, exactly.
You got to motivate because Chris Jones doing them right with you.
Right,
you see
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Never. And I go back to the point of saying, I mean, we motivate. We got to motivate, Joe. We gotta take this band thing into a different direction.
And we're talking to upperclassmen and old heads, exactly.
And you know what we always say about old heads when they come back? They're never in shape. They're never in shape. They don't take it. They take it like, okay, well, I went through my first year. I don't have to go through all this stuff no more.
Because you excited more about the freshman coming in versus you are about yourself, right?
Correct. You overlook yourself to get in the freelance style of thinking about the freshman. But at the same time, you come in prepared. You can do every exercise that you tell anybody to do in your section. You can work harder than anybody in your section. What's that going to make your section do? Push and be just like you or be on the same level as you're trying to get to or strive to. And you can do it with a positive manner instead of doing it in the negative. Let's stop picking on people. I mean, I know we have a tradition and stuff, but things change. They change. But the mentality of band does not have to change. The killer instinct, the ethnic war, does not have to change. But preparation changes us. We're changing with preparation. We're preparing in a positive way, exercising, not putting our hands on people, not talking about people, but using positive motivation instead of the negative. How would they take it? How would they do what they need to do? What would happen if we did this? What kind of band would we actually have? Well, I tell you, Joe, and I tell you like this, the eyes and the beholder. I believe that we will behold a great band. I do. With physical fitness being the thing.
Yeah, I think that it definitely would make a difference with just definitely punishment being together. So what about some of the other things that we could do as a band? Okay, like I guess if maybe a performance wasn't particularly well, or maybe we're having problems getting people to learn music. What are some good things that we can do to help with that?
Go to a squat position. And I ain't mean to cut you off. Joe.
Oh, no, please.
But we could go to a squat position, tell everybody to be quiet. As we're holding that squat position, we tell what the command is or whatever we want to get accomplished. And then from that point on, because you're going to be thinking about your legs more than anything. But once again, that leader is doing it with you. And that just shows you that they're in the game and in the war with you. It's not a separate entity. It's not an individual. It's a band thing. And so that exercise, doing it together, is great. Go ahead.
So you say in squat position, do you mean like on a wall?
Almost. We can do the wall, but everybody's doing the wall with their hands out. And that resistance of that natural body resistance is great. On the quads and on the hamstrings and on the gluteus maximus, which is your buttocks, which some people don't know, but that's your buttocks. But it gives you good resistance. It gives a good pull. And you get that stretch, and the muscles are reacting to the strain and the resistance of natural body weight, which is great.
And it is something it is, I guess, people that, if they just have to just take wood, or if they just have to give wood, that is something that is actually not taken away from that area, but it is helping that area because it is important for marching. You know what I'm saying?
This is correct.
In the marching band setting, you need your buttocks and you need those hamstrings. I've definitely seen a lot of people get injuries, just busting out and wilding out playing music because they're not necessarily thinking marching band is physical like that, where they need
to stretch. Sport. You remember 1999 when I strained my hamstring against Southern?
Man.
It's a series. And I remember one time I seen knees go out, but I've seen people have physical, like performance levels. If you're in great shape, your performance level is so much increased because you have the ability. You're winning. You have the ability to do much more, to put forth that extra little oomph, that little effort. And, that's where we go back with the positive and the exercise. Why can't it change? Why can't it change, Joe? That's what I'm saying. And we got to look at it a different way. We got to.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. We just have to start looking at things in a different way where it's something that, this is a consequence for what happens, but it's benefiting us at the same time. So your band is fierce. Your band is fierce because, one person is not particularly getting more or one section is getting more, because it does somewhat build a difference, separating sections, if you will, where, my section is the best. The drummers always feel that they have the toughest section.
Right.
But if everybody is, and every section is going to have their thing, but if everyone is doing the group punishment, it makes it totally different. It makes it
totally different because we're all doing it together, Joe. We're doing it together.
And even in your sectionals, too. Even in your sectionals,
We should have did a show called One Band, One Sound.
Well, I guess essentially this is what it is. Essentially what it is. I'm glad that we had the session because it turned out to be good. We got 90 seconds left, Chris Jones. Can you break down, other than the things that, of course, the drum majors, everybody's doing things together, hamstrings, we got the deltoids holding things out, upper body, lower body, learning music. What is the ultimate? Let's say it's 60 seconds. Could you give us 30 seconds of a Hell Week punishment for physical fitness of your marching band? Hell Week, Southern Week, All Week, whatever you want to call it.
We start off with 2 miles running. We do 2 miles running right before practice. In practice with a music hit, then hit another mile, come back, do some calisthenics, and call it a day. But the thing that I really want to get on is, like I said, working together, doing the exercises together, lunges, doing the crabbing together, doing the death march together. All these things help us to be motivating and be positive and be more energized. And at the same time, we got to eat right. We got to get that food in right. We got to do the things that's right to our bodies. Now, these are my words. Now, this is Chris Jones signing off. It's been a great show, Joe. I wish we had more time. But, fitness does not wait for nobody. So it's your time. It's your opportunity. Now, get up and do something. It's 8 to 5, all the way live with Chris Jones and Joe Beard. Yo, man, I enjoyed it, man.
Check out the website at www.marchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.
Good night.